Today I'm going to talk about how to find area of rectangles, squares, parallelograms, rhombuses, trapezoids, triangles, and circles. So basically, we're going to find area of everything. Um, the really great thing about area is, and I'm going to go to the end of my little show here real quick. The great thing about area is that on your formula chart that you get during the STAR test, and you will get from me, it has all the formulas that you need to find area. All you really have to do ever to find area is identify what shape you're dealing with, find the formula, and plug in the numbers and solve. So, and that's the same for triangles, squares, rectangles, trapezoids, circles, everything. You just plug in and solve. So, we're going to go back to starting real easy with squares and triangles. Now, there's three formulas down here. Area equals base times height, or area equals length times width, or area equals side squared for squares. These are all the same thing, really. You're just multiplying this times this. So if I wanted to find the area of this particular rectangle, I would just do 12 times 3.4, because this is centimeters, so that's going to be 4, and this is going to be 6 and 3. I add that together, that's 10, and I move my decimal back one place. So the area of this is 40.8 centimeters squared. We say squared because what we're really doing when we're finding area is finding how many little squares would fit, of equal size, would fit inside of that shape. This next one, again, 21 times 40, that's all we're going to do. So 40 times 21, and that's going to give us the area, and these are in miles squared. So 1 times 0, 1 times 4, 2 times 0, 2 times 4. So this one is 840 miles squared. I think you get the hang of it. I'm not going to continue and go on with these two. You can do those on your own. If you want to pause the video, you can try to solve those on your own, but I'm not gonna do it. So the next thing, still pretty darn easy, parallelograms and rhombuses. Parallelograms and rhombuses are basically squares and rectangles that have been run over by a bus. So they're kind of just smooshed over a little bit. The thing that you need to remember is that height means altitude, and so you don't take that area from diagonal lines. So this number right here, this 12, it is labeling the length of this diagonal line, which is great for perimeter, but if you're finding area, you need to know how tall the shape is. So this shape is 11.3 centimeters tall, so you would multiply 13 times 11.3. This number, totally irrelevant when it comes to area. Again, we have another totally irrelevant number here. It's on a diagonal line. We don't take area from diagonal lines. So to find the area of this parallelogram, we would do 12 times 3, and we get 36. 36 miles squared. And then the next one, this one here, you can see that the altitude is 15.5, and then the base is 8.3, and so the area of that one, and I'm just going to do it on a calculator because I'm being lazy, is 128.65 feet squared. So that's how many little feet would fit in their little squares. Triangles are still easy. It's still the same thing. You're just using a formula, and the formula is right here. Area equals base times height over 2. You don't have to memorize any of these formulas. Okay, they're going to be given to you during every test you take over this. The thing about triangles is kids forget to finish. So a couple of things you need to keep in mind. You can't use diagonal lines for area. So this number right here that's labeling this diagonal line is totally irrelevant. So is this one, and so is this one. Now, there might be extra numbers, so we just talked about that. There are extra numbers. Find the numbers you need and then plug them into the formula. So we're going to do this one because these numbers are nice and easy, 12 and 14. Base times height. Base is 12, height is 14 over 2. Don't forget to divide by 2. What a lot of kids do is they will multiply 12 times 14, and then they never go back and actually do the division part. So you need to make sure that you don't forget that division part. So 228 divided by 2 is 114, yes, feet squared. And that's the area of this triangle. The reason you divide by 2 when you do a triangle is because triangles are really just squares cut in half. Any square or rectangle, if you cut it in half, it'll make a triangle. Well, you have to cut it in half diagonally, but still, it'll make a triangle. All right. Trapezoids are a little bit harder because the formula looks really, really overwhelming, but it's really, really not. Trapezoid is anything with exactly two parallel sides. So this is a trapezoid, this is a trapezoid, and so is this. Okay? Now, area equals base 1 plus base 2 times height. Base 1 and base 2. It doesn't matter which one you call 1 and 2 because you're just adding them. 9 plus 6 is the same as 6 plus 9. So we're going to plug in the bases, base 1 plus base 2 times the height of 3, and all of that over 2. So again, because of this formula and all the little things, it looks really, really scary, but it's really not. You're doing 9 plus 6 times 3, and then you're dividing by 2. This is not hard. So this is going to be 9 plus 6, which is 15, times 3 over 2, which is 45 over 2, and 45 divided by 2 is 22 and a half, or 22.5. So we'll take 22.5 feet squared. Now, this one's kind of a bad deal because there's not enough information to solve the problem, because you need to know how big that is. But I'm going to go ahead and solve that one anyway. I'm just going to make up a value for that top number, which I can do because I'm a teacher, but you cannot make up your own stuff. So we're just going to say that if that's 4.1 inches, we'll just say that this is 3 inches. All right. This one I put in here on purpose because sometimes base 1 and base 2, kids will look at a figure like this and they'll think this is base 1 and this is base 2, but they're not. This is a slanted line. And this figure is really just a trapezoid that's been turned over on its side. So in order to find the area, we're going to do base 1. This is a base, and this is a base. See, they're straight lines. 3 plus 4.1 times the height, which is 8, over 2. So that's 7.1 times 8 over 2. So this is 56.8 over 2, which is 28.4 inches squared. And that's the area of this trapezoid. The last thing we're going to do is circles. Circles uses this formula, area equals pi r squared. And remember, for 6th grade, pi equals 3. So we're just going to estimate pi to be 3. The real trouble that kids are going to have with this is the difference between radius and diameter. This circle is showing you the diameter. This circle is showing you the radius. This circle is showing you the diameter and some irrelevant number. And this is called a chord, actually, a line that goes across the circle, but not through the center point. And this is showing you diameter. Well, radius is halfway through the circle, diameter is all the way through the circle. So you need to make sure that when you're doing area of a circle, that you have the radius. So if the diameter of a circle is 18 yards, the radius is 9 yards, it's half. Again, 18 meters, the radius is 9 meters. Okay, 2.3 inches, the radius would be half of 2.3, which is 1.15 inches. Okay, and then you just square the radius and multiply by 3. So we'll do these first two. So let me kind of erase all this mess that I've made. And all right, so let's go. We know that area equals pi, which is 3, times r squared. The radius here is 9. So this is 81. 9 times 9 is 81. So area equals 3 times 81. That's going to be 3, and that's 24. So the area of that circle is 243 meters squared. Again, even with a circle, we're figuring out how many squares would fit inside the circle. Okay. Last one we're going to do on this video is this one here. Radius is already given to us, so we know we're going to do 3, which is pi. Area equals 3 times 5 squared. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. 3 times 25 is 75 centimeters squared. So that's the area of this circle. I hope that you found this video helpful. Make sure that before you start solving these questions, you have your math chart, which you can see right here. This is just the area part of your math chart. But remember, you have to identify what kind of shape you have, and then you have to look at the formula. And sometimes there's more than one formula, but 1/2 of base times height, like here and here, base times height over 2, and 1/2 of base times height, those are the same thing. They're equal. This, again, base 1 plus base 2 times height over 2 is equal to 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. If you don't like using the fractions, which I find most 6th graders don't love fractions, you can just scribble those ones out. You don't need them at all. And I just said ones, which isn't a word. All right. I hope this video has been helpful. Make sure you get your math chart, and you can watch this video as many times as you need to until you understand how to find area.